Well guys, it's 7 o'clock, it's the 4th of December and it's 7 p.m. I feel like I'm reading the 9 o'clock news. This is the BBC and this is Simon Cowell reporting. I've got a very, very strange guest next to me tonight. She worked here for a long time. She's actually lower. I like it that she's seated lower than me because I feel a bit superior.
I'm trying to hide.
Lucy's trying to. Lucy was with us for 5 long, arduous years. We had a great time and we did a lot of the SOS episodes and it was an awful lot of fun. So I hope your questions tonight are going to be sort of really relevant to SOS. Lucy's very sad, I'm afraid. Lucy can actually quote every clip from every episode of Wildlife SOS. And when she joined us back in 2010, it was many years after she joined that I learnt out the story, and you will hear the story later on tonight. But I have with me, on my second page, where I've carefully hidden from Lucy, her application form.
Oh, no.
Dear Simon Cowell, I am writing referring to the veterinary nurse vacancy advertised on your website. I'm currently employed as a veterinary. It goes on and on and on.
It's very long.
On and on. And it ends up, I really look forward to hearing from you and hope that this vacancy is still available. If she'd known then what she was writing, she would have realised what a huge mistake it was. We had a great time.
We did. It was. I will never forget it. I love it.
Is that a nice not forgetting it or a bad not forgetting it?
It's a nice not forgetting it.
Okay, we had a lot of fun, guys. And trouble is, I was a bit of a playboy in those days because I used to vanish off on my foreign trips with Lucy. Lucy said, "Can I come on one of your trips abroad?" No. She did eventually get one,
I did.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on, won't we? Because she cried. She did cry.
I did.
But we had fun. What do you remember most about your time with us? Firstly, about your time at Wildlife Aid, and then we'll go into your time doing Wildlife SOS.
It's just such a roller coaster. There's every emotion, and no 2 days are the same. You can just go through everything. You can be on top of the world 1 minute, and then desperately working the next minute. I mean, no single 2 days were the same. It's like a blur.
That was when I shouted at you, or just
pretty much?
Yeah.
Every time he called me to the office, I was like, "What have I done wrong? What have I done wrong?" But
first time she came to us, we'll go straight in this now. First time she came to the office, there's a knock on the door, and I was sitting at my desk, cigarette in my hand, and drink on the table. This little tap 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 tap, and this sort of very red-faced vet nurse came in, and I looked, and she came in, and she sat down, and I was very relaxed. We're very non-PC here, and she said, "I've come for the interview for the vet nurse position." And Lucy, you have to admit now that you had had a few cc's of alcohol before you arrived. Can you tell me why you had those cc's of alcohol?
I blame my husband for this one because honestly, I'd watched Wildlife SOS for years, and not only was I coming to meet somebody that I'd watched on TV for so long, but I really, really, really wanted the job too. So, well, it's Dutch courage they call it, don't they?
Yeah, but you were slurring your words.
I was not. It was one very small drink.
Okay. And how did the interview go? Did it pan out as you thought it would?
I think it went really well. I ended up helping in the hospital that afternoon, did some suturing, which was really cool, and I knew from that moment I wanted the job, so yeah.
Well, this is the picture of her at the time, which I think Lawrie can actually make bigger than this one. So
guys, we're having a slight issue with lagging at the moment, so you're sort of cutting in and out. So we may need to pause this one just for the time being whilst this gets back up. Fortunately, we are actually having issues with our internet at the moment here, and unfortunately it's chosen today to do it.
So should we talk, Lawrie, or should we be very quiet while you sort this out?
Keep talking, keep talking.
Keep talking, because it just keeps stopping and starting, so it's still going.
So we're going to keep talking, Lucy. So Lawrie has your picture. Do you remember this picture going back all those years? Do you remember that?
I can't believe you found that.
Oh, we can find anything.
Where did you find it?
We can find anything. Look, there you are.
Dear.
Lucy looking a lot younger than she does now.
Yeah, it's you guys gave me all my grey hair. That's
well, you have some of my white hair if you wanted as well. How are we doing, Lawrie? Are we back on streaming properly? Are we still a bit intermittent?
We're a little bit intermittent, but It's getting better.
Okay guys, well I hope you can bear with us because Lucy is here. She's very happy to answer your questions. If there's any questions I don't like, I won't let her answer them. So, Wildlife Aid, bit of an experience. You can, as I say, I really mean this, she could quote any clip from any episode and tell you exactly where it was. So why did you watch all these episodes of SOS?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, as a vet or a vet nurse, you tend to watch those programmes in your own time. It's just one of those things that you like watching. You watch all the different animal veterinary ones, but for me, I always had a particular interest for wildlife, and what better series to watch? There you go.
So you're watching it because of the wildlife, you're watching it because of me?
A little bit of both, Simon, just to make you feel better.
That's nearly the right answer.
Yeah,
That's not too bad. So we went on, and honestly, it was a busy 5 years, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was a busy 5 years, and you know the most frequent question we've had about this whole thing. We've talked about this before because I was terrified she would say the wrong. Why did you leave? You tell me why you left, and I'll tell them why you really left. Or we can just joke it through like we did earlier on.
I wore myself out a little bit.
You did.
I did, and when you do put sort of heart and soul in everything, you do wear yourself out. And how you keep going, I really have no idea. He's a robot, really.
I've been cloned 5 times
yeah,
so
you
far.
are a clone. And so, yeah, we decided to buy an American RV and do a bit of travelling around Europe. So, glamorous van life, I call it.
Well, I've never talked to your husband since, actually, because he took you away from here, and you were the lifeblood of this place at the time, and it was brilliant. But I must admit, one thing I will say, luckily he's not here, so I don't have to be nice to him. Sean was one of the only 2 rescuers I'd ever worked with, to be honest. We have a lot of people want to come on rescues, and you've got to just be of a certain mindset, and Sean was absolutely incredible. In fact, I hate to admit it, but he was more persevering than me. I would give up before he did on a rescue. He would just stay hours at a place, but he was absolutely staggering. And I thought when Sean went and Lucy went, I thought the end of my world, that was it, I was screwed. Luckily, a certain young man with very funny haircut came and worked for us, and he has proved to be Sean Mark II. In fact, I wanted them to meet tonight because I think it'd be quite funny, Sean meeting Lawrie. But no, he's been brilliant, Lawrie. He's still got stuff to learn, as we all have.
I think you learn every day.
Yeah. What do I say to all our volunteers? The day you think you know it all, leave.
Yeah.
So okay, we cracked
That's
on.
not why I left.
No. She left because I was nasty to her, but I think she was nasty to me, and we cried a lot.
You actually fired me so many times.
Yeah, but that's
so
only
many
in
times.
jest, Lucy. You know that. P45s were flowing around the
Every
office
day.
at a rate of knots. So we did lots of stuff. Tell me your most memorable times. Just tell me 1 or 2 of your most memorable times.
Well, definitely the cuckoo story.
Lucy and her cuckoo. Lucy's gone cuckoo. Lucy had gone
literally.
cuckoo. Tell us the story. I'm going to be quiet now. It's all yours.
Well,
look at that thing there.
yes.
Because that's what you're talking to.
I'm not very good at looking at cameras. This doesn't look like a camera, so I can kind of get away with it. But the cuckoo had come in because she was seriously underweight. She'd been attacked by other birds, and I'd never ever dealt with a cuckoo before, and it was just so cool to have one that you could look after and hopefully make better. But it was that time of year that she should have already left the country or be leaving at that moment, but she wasn't well enough. So we had to get the weight on her, get her better.
You've missed an important part here. I'm just going to give you a clue now.
The tag, yeah, she did have a tag. We didn't show all of that, but she did have, you know, when they're GPS tracking the cuckoos, so she was the first female that ever had one of these tags, and they feel that the females are a bit smaller than the males and they can't carry it, and they think that she struggled. Ida Millie.
Yeah, she got that.
I will always remember. I will always remember.
Okay, so go on. I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, so we got her better, and then we realised that it was too late to let her go, and amazingly, because we did have that data from the GPS trackers, we knew exactly where all the other cuckoos were, which was in Italy. And so we did an appeal, and amazingly British Airways came forward and said that they would help her get to Italy, to Turin she went to, but they needed someone to go with her, and I was like, Simon, please, 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 and he did. He let me go, and Yeah, that's Series 10, Episode 12 of Wildlife SOS.
And how did you get there, Lucy?
Business class. I flew business class, never flown business class before.
Laurie's doing things behind us. I'm getting very pleased. Laurie's flipping around with his. We're transferring.
We think this is probably slowing
this is,
the internet, so we're just going to stop it and hope that.
Can we not kill it?
I can't find the mouse.
Can we stop it?
Technical issues.
Mouse for what? We're looking for a mouse,
No,
guys.
I have the mouse in my hand, but it's not actually showing up anywhere. So I still need to go way up over here.
Oh, there it is.
Sorry about this, guys.
We're looking for a mouse, Luce.
It's not a
Oh,
live
there,
mouse.
yeah. Okay. So does that stop that now?
Right. Let's see if this helps.
It's not instantaneous, so just.
Okay, so
Okay, guys. So hopefully that's now up and running. Please let us know in the chat just how it is going. Hopefully it's back up and normal now.
Unlike Lucy and I, who have never been normal,
Never
will
been
be.
normal.
So come on, so you got on your plane at Gatwick, presumably, or Heathrow, or?
I can't remember which airport it was.
Lucy's very old now. The senile dementia's cracking in here.
I
So,
lost
but
it.
you got on a plane
We
with
did.
a cuckoo.
With
Where
a
did the
cuckoo.
cuckoo sit?
Next to me. She actually got her own seat next to me. It really was amazing. I mean, we didn't have to queue. They took us straight through the airport. It really was amazing experience. And when we flew back, we did fly economy.
Yeah.
So I needed another cuckoo to bring back. That would have been.
So you got
really
out
fun.
there, you were with this cuckoo.
Mhm.
What happened when you got out of the airport gates or the airport doors? What happened then?
Well, we decided to take her straight away to the release site. It was the weather was fantastic. The release site was amazing.
Who
beautiful
arranged this for
place.
you? 'Cause
This
obviously
was the BTO.
Okay, okay.
BTO organised all of the release site. And then when we let her go, she called out for the first time. You can't really hear it on the footage, but we heard it, and they told me what it was, because a female cuckoo doesn't go cuckoo.
What does a female cuckoo do?
I can't do an impression.
Come on, just try
I
tonight.
can't.
Just try. Do a female cuckoo.
I really can't. They make almost like a bubbly noise.
Okay.
But they heard it, they knew what it was, and yeah, it was very emotional.
And then what
very
happened,
emotional.
Lucy? Were there tears?
There were tears, yes.
There were copious tears.
Lots of tears. We did. She was always very, very special to me.
How
'cause
long
we
was she
worked
with
so
us before she
hard.
went?
I can't remember how many. Oh, it was a long time. It was a good
I know,
couple of months.
She was near death for the first
Yeah,
few
she was
few
really,
weeks,
really
really.
sick. Really sick. You see some of the early pictures of her, and she was all fluffed up and skinny, and I think she was 60 something grams, and then when she was released, she was almost double her body weight. Actually, just over double. She was.
There's so many jokes I could have made to that, Lucy, but I will refrain because
I
this is
dread
a
to think.
live
You
YouTube system.
were
at the
going to
moment.
say that.
But you enjoyed that.
I did. I will never forget that, and it's great. I actually watched it recently. I really
Lucy's
did.
incredibly sad, guys.
I did.
Have we got any questions coming in, Lawrie?
Yes. So
I bet
luckily
they're
the
all
stream
good.
seems to be okay. Everyone's saying it's looking a lot better. So sorry about that one, guys. It might be good if we could just go back to one of the questions that we had right at the beginning.
Which was that one?
There's been a couple of them. So how did you start here? And more importantly, I think for the people in the chat, why did you end up leaving in the end?
Which one first?
We hated each other, basically. She started here. You started here because you were drunk.
Including that letter, if you can.
And we
No.
have to do this. We've got to go
No,
back to doing
no,
this.
okay.
We've done this. Okay, so I've got to find
Let
it.
me tell
No,
it.
no,
Let
no.
me
You
tell
be
it.
quiet for a minute. Dear Simon Cowell, I am writing referring to the veterinary nurse vacancy advertised on your website. I feel like what's the big show? Michael McIntyre, isn't it? That's how he speaks when he does the
Yes,
show.
all proper.
I'm currently employed as a veterinary nurse at a nice practice in
It was
Richmond.
a lovely practice. I felt awful.
And wouldn't actually be thinking of leaving in normal circumstances. But seeing this job advertised, I could not hesitate to try applying. This would be my absolute dream job, and has been for many years. Take over the story, Lucy Kells.
It's really true. I was very happy where I was working, wasn't even thinking of leaving. And it was actually my husband, Sean, that spotted the advert, told me. And I wrote immediately that and sent my CV.
Why?
Because I've wanted to do it for so long. And
you wanted to be working with me for
Yes,
so.
Simon, really, that's the only reason. But paid jobs as a vet or a nurse working with wildlife, they don't come around every day. They really, really don't. They're so rare. And this was working at the place I'd watched on TV for so many years. And
So why did you have to come in drunk?
I wasn't drunk. I had one drink. It was Dutch courage. Dutch courage. When you're meeting someone that you've watched on TV for so many years, back when he had
I'm
hair.
not that old!
I was literally so nervous, and you're nervous enough on a job that you want anyway, but when you want it that badly and it's with a TV personality, you're like, you need some help.
I'm a legend in my own bottom, guys. That's as far as the legend's ever got, but never mind. And then something happened about smoking at some point during the interview, didn't it?
Yes. Back, I don't smoke anymore. I'm very good.
Nor do I, guys. Nor do I.
Vaping. But yes, during the interview, Simon, without really thinking, was chatting away, and he just reached over and took a cigarette out of his packet and sparked up in the interview. And I was still being very polite and very careful. I was like, "Excuse me, could I please have one?"
Can I just say that she was never as polite as that ever since. That first interview was a one-off, and sadly it all went downhill from there. And then you left us. You deserted me in my time of need, when I was getting senile dementia, incontinence, dribbling a lot. She was burnt out. You said that earlier on. People might not forget that, but you
I wore myself out. I really did, and you know, I mean, I should do a competition actually. Is go through all of the Wildlife SOS episodes and on the YouTube videos, and see how many times Simon says, "It was Lucy's day off," and she came in, and that really was what it was like. I was worn out. I was really, really tired. And so, spur of the moment, we decided to buy an American RV and travel Europe and have fun.
So I not only lost my best vet nurse, but I also lost my best rescuer. It was a double whammy for me.
Nurse. You've got nice vet nurses.
I've got beautiful vet nurses
and
now.
Maru the vet is amazing.
She is a good lass and very good at what she does. Everybody, you can't honestly work at this place without being insane. To be honest, the hours you work, what you have to do, the energy you have to put into it, it's all consuming. I mean, anybody who works for a charity will probably know this, but for those of you who don't, it is vocational, and you just give it everything. You have nothing left at the end of your day.
Eat, sleep, drink, everything. Dream about it. Even you'd come home from work and be having something to eat, and you'd be writing an email with one hand answering a question about something, and then there'd be a rescue, and you put the rest of your food away and go off on the. I mean, it really is.
When you think that Lucy joined us, she looked like this.
Yes.
And now look at her on the camera and see what she looks like. She has aged about 150 years in the last 5 years.
So many wrinkles now. Wrinkles and grey hair and
You look quite enthusiastic then, didn't you, really?
It was a lovely practice, it really was. I felt awful leaving them. I actually knew the boss, I knew him as a vet student as well, so I was, really happy there.
I've got other correspondence from you here. I don't know whether we should go into it. I've got your CV.
Not my CV.
I've got your CV, which is quite interesting, but we won't go into that too much.
No.
There's all these lies of the places you work. I rang them all up. They said we've never heard of them.
Yeah.
What's it? I've attached a photo, not great in brackets, of myself from my current job's website. I'm sorry for the delay in calling you about the job and pay, etc. We're really trashing everything out at home at the moment and talking through everything financially. She knew she was going to be paid badly here, and that's how it went. That's how it went.
This is what he does. He's like, "What would you work for?" And you're like, "Well, that's not normally how it works." And he just keeps trying to get you to go lower and lower and lower. It's so not what it normally happens with a job, is it really?
I'm not like a normal boss, was I?
He's like, "What's the lowest you'd work for?"
And she told me, and then I worked from there and went
then he said he
downwards.
won't go down from there. A bit less than that.
Again, sorry to keep you waiting, and hopefully I will be ready to call you soon.
He did say, I couldn't pay you that unless you'd be prepared to work 7 days a week.
She never did that. It was really quite cruel, really. So come on, best moment and worst moment at Wildlife Aid.
Best moment.
This is unrehearsed.
The cuckoo was definitely the best moment. I've got so many. My best release was the cuckoo.
Okay.
Definitely. The best hospital incident was the squirrel that got his teeth stuck in the bird feeder.
I remember that.
And I couldn't get hold of you because you normally deal with them, and I was like, oh mate, I have to do this myself. And freeing him was such a buzz, and then released him the same day. That was definitely one of my favourites.
Rescue's release is always brilliant. Always brilliant.
He was. Oh, it was.
Okay, worst moment.
Oh, worst moment. The rescue that both you and I were crying on the way back. He won't like the meeting, but he
remember that one,
I think he knows exactly what it is.
Deer.
But it was the deer.
Yeah.
We'd been called out to an injured. Obviously, I'm losing it thinking about it. It was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. And yeah, we got called out, and we realised when we got there that the deer was pregnant, and her injuries were
catastrophic.
There was nothing we could do. So we made the decision to put the deer to sleep and immediately get the babies, because you can't tell without the ability of. Have you guys got a scanner now?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, back then they didn't, and we made the decision, and she was pregnant with twins, wasn't she? But they were so young. There's no way that it would have been cruel to even try. But I remember begging you, going, please, can we still? And you knew it was wrong. There was nothing that could be done, and yeah, we had to put the two babies to sleep as well. And the whole way back to the centre, neither of us spoke to each other. We were just crying. It was awful.
We didn't actually speak to each other for many weeks on end anyway.
No.
I mean, we didn't, unless we had to. We didn't speak. We only did it for the cameras. We didn't speak otherwise. That was a pretty heavy one, wasn't it?
It was awful. Really
pretty deep. Just going away from sorry for a second, I just want to say to one particular person that I have shaved this evening. One of our members gets really upset when I don't shave. So I have shaved this evening. There we are. Look, silky smooth. And what else we got going? Any questions that are coming? So I've got
yes. We've had a whole load of questions come in. An awful lot for Lucy, as
I'm going to go to sleep now.
would imagine you saying. So. Just flicking through. So Mega Tweet, a great name by the way, has said, I'm sure you, Lucy, were one of the absolute favourites to ever be on the show Wildlife SOS. I hope you're doing really, really well now with whatever you're up to. And did you ever figure out the onion chopper?
Oh. The onion chopper.
We were talking about that just now.
We were. I will never live this onion chopper down. That video is 100% real, genuine. That just shows you how atrocious I am at cooking. I am absolutely clueless. I really.
So what happened, Lucy? Come on, tell us about that. You've got to tell all these people who don't know about the onion chopper. It sounds a bit naughty.
I don't know about the onion chopper. No.
We had.
It's very early days.
Had a swan, a cygnet with the wonky beak. Do you remember wonky beak?
Yeah.
The cygnet. And we had to break up spinach for him because it was the only thing that he was eating. And it was taking me ages to break all this spinach up. So Simon bought this onion chopper and he just left it on the table and left. And I've never even seen whatever this thing was. I don't think it really is designed for spinach.
It chops vegetables.
I don't know what it was. But I tried to use it, and Andy, who was the cameraman at the time, thought it was very funny to just watch me bumbling along trying to work out how to use it. And yeah, it's.
Did you put your finger in the wrong place?
I was putting my fingers everywhere in it, like sticking it through the blades and then spinning it round like I was thinking of, salt cellar. I thought, it's salt cellar, isn't it? Pepper cellar. I don't know. See, I don't cook. And yeah, you're supposed to punch it.
But you're not supposed to leave your finger in it.
No, I didn't do that. Yeah, I know it is the answer. Basically, I went straight back to breaking it up.
Yeah, breaking up by hand. Any other memorable stories apart from memorising every single episode, which always still to this day I can't believe. If we have a problem now, if I ask Lawrie something, I say I need to look at that. He said, well, we'll just ring Lucy and she'll tell us whereabouts in the episode it was, which episode it was, which series it was.
I really am. I am the world's biggest nerd, really. Can't help it. That's me.
Give us some more questions, Lawrie.
So Xenia, I apologise if I've completely butchered that, I think I have, has asked, what would you think is the best way to teach people to be more careful about the environment and wildlife? And that one's for Lucy.
You were breathing in to speak then, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was just taking a breath. I hadn't breathed for a while, so I thought I'd better take it.
That's what I think programs like Wildlife SOS on YouTube, that's the best way to teach anybody. I mean, it's how I learned everything that I know about treating and caring for wildlife. It's literally nothing beats seeing it. It's all very easy and good to read it in a book, but when you actually see what these animals are going through, then you see what you can do about it, or at least prevent from happening. Like, you know, the nets is a really good example. Picking the nets up in the garden can stop these animals getting stuck. I mean, so many animals caught in netting.
Yeah.
Every single year, and you know, and getting the word out there that's the best way of doing it, isn't it?
More people, more roads, less habitat. I mean, somebody asked me the other day, I was doing a radio interview, and they said, you know, what percentage of your call-outs are to do with man or whatever? And I always say, I mean, my stock answer is 95%, but actually I think it's probably nearer 99%, either indirectly or directly due to man. Animals have no space left, they have no habitat left, and it's all very well saving the animals or saving the habitat, but actually where we are with this planet at the moment, which is pretty catastrophic, I won't get on my soapbox, is the fact that man have done all the damage, and the only cure we have has got to be holistic. So you've got to save the animals, but you've got to save all the invertebrates, which obviously are animals as well, but you've got to save right down to the bottom of the food chain. You've got to save habitat, you've got to do everything. You just basically got to get rid of man to some degree so man doesn't spread so far. So that's where we're at, guys, and I think our younger generation now has picked up the most almighty challenge, and they've done it so well to make us oldies, and particularly the governments, just listen to what they're saying, because for years governments and corporates have paid lip service to the problems we've got and said, yeah, the children have actually made them think we better do something about this because it's all pretty serious.
I think they always think that it's never going to happen. You know, we can talk about it, but it's never going to happen in my lifetime. But
well, in my lifetime it certainly won't. I'm safe, Lucy. I shall go before it all goes wrong.
It's happening now, isn't it, though?
Sure.
There's animals becoming extinct every day, and it's raising awareness and actually caring about it. So many people don't seem to care, and it's really sad. In fact, that reminds me, there was another memorable one for a different reason. Was a lady came in and she brought in a mother hedgehog and 5 babies that she'd found under her decking, and we asked her what was wrong. Are they injured? What's happened? Are you having the decking ripped up? And she said, no, I don't want these in my garden, they smell. And that's an honest reason why she brought that animal in. And she said, I've never had so many problems with wildlife since I moved to the countryside. And that's an honest truth, that's what she said.
A lot of people said I smell, but I don't really care.
Well, I never liked
No, I know, you were very kind. Lucy, for every birthday and Christmas, used to buy me a large spray can of deodorant. I never quite understood why, but she, you know, religiously bought it in.
I brought one with me.
Yeah, it squares me all over. So it has been an interesting ride. It's been an interesting world that we live in now, and it is the children who are going to make the difference. And I applaud them, and I'm very sorry that we've left them in this state to do what we should have been doing. I'm going to break off the subject for a minute, so I'm going to mention IDOT, because a lot of what we're talking about now is going to be something IDOT, which is I Do One Thing. You'll probably know nothing about it at the moment, or very little, but coming on our website soon will be an IDOT page. It will be aimed primarily at children, and that's from January. Hopefully our wonderful media team, that's Lawrie, say hello.
Hello.
And Abbey, who refuses to have a... Abbey is using the phone now. Abby's not taking any notice of what we're doing. She's texting.
I am working.
Abby's working. Dear Adam, I'll be home at 9. Could you put the dinner on, please?
Listen to these boring people.
So Abbey and Lawrie will be pushing out IDOT come January. So just keep your eyes over that. We hope it's going to be really huge. We need you to make it go viral. So that's one thing we're setting off shortly with. Just at the moment, we're having quite a busy week because we've got Help the Animals on. We were lucky recipients of that last year, and they very generously, because we were the guinea pigs last year, they've taken the same 5 charities for this year.
I love guinea pigs.
We were out on Monday, and our programme was on, and there's another 3 programs to go, so we had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Please guys, just donate on that, because last year we were lucky enough to make £150,000. Now that is one of those things that makes a huge difference. So if you're feeling generous, please, instead of perhaps buying just one of your Christmas presents or buying yourself an extra beer tonight or an extra coffee, just give a little bit to help the animals at Christmas, because Channel 5 have championed really the sort of, you know, they haven't done children, they've done animals, which is so important, and they've championed this, and this could become a yearly thing of helping animals. So please donate to help the animals at Christmas. Channel 5 have been brilliant, and hopefully it'll go on and on and on. I doubt we'll be lucky enough to get into another year, but if you beg enough, and I'm very good at begging, as Lucy will know, I try to get everything for nothing, and I try to get everywhere we can, because we need to help the animals. Everybody says to me, what's the most important thing, the animals or the money? And I always, out of really on purpose, say it's the money. Because if we had the money, we can do the animals. You give us more money, we can do more animals. So it is the money. Sadly, it makes the world go round, wrongly or rightly. But we can save more animals, and so can all the other 5 charities involved this year. They're all stunning causes. We, of course, are by far the most important one. I can't say that, can I? It's like
you just did.
Oh, did I? Oh, whoops a daisy. So yeah, so help the animals is great. We obviously at Wildlife Aid have a lot of adoptions at Christmas time. Poor old Lucy was seen going down to, not Lucy, what's her name? Alice was seen going down to the post office tonight with about a 10-foot pile high of adoptions that people have bought for Christmas. So adoptions are a great thing, great stocking fillers, and we've got the books that we wrote, we've got DVDs about the series, we've got all sorts of baloney.
Series 10 is a really good series.
Here we
You
go.
should buy Series 10. Buy Series 10.
What's so good about Series 10, Liz?
It's just beautifully filmed, I say.
And Lucy's in it.
Lucy's in it, Jim filmed it, and
Yeah.
I featured occasionally.
You did, yeah.
Where did we go in Series 10? Where did we go abroad on Series 10? I've forgotten that.
If you're going to ask me all.
Yeah, you're
South
supposed to
Africa,
know
you
every-
went South Africa, you went to Belize with the crocodiles. You went to Dublin. Not
to
Dublin. Was it Dublin?
We went to
Ireland.
Dingle.
Dingle. Band with a D.
See, I
I'm
remember
sorry,
this.
everyone from Dingle. Where else did you go? Russia with the wolves. Oh, that was my favourite.
I've still got the scar from my nose when that wolf scratched me on the very, very first filming thing we
Episode
did.
12, Series 10.
Oh, Lucy, you're just so sad.
I did think he was exaggerating when you said you could
No.
name every episode.
Can you tell us the time code for that bit clip or not?
No.
Oh, so she's not that good, Lawrie. So come on, give Lucy some more
Yes,
questions.
we've got a whole load of questions that have come in. We're now actually 33 minutes into that, and we've barely asked any questions, so we'll try and get through as many of them as we can. Just quickly, we've had a whole load of donations come in recently, so thank you very much to you guys. Kurosaki, who actually won 2 of our prints that we did with Richard last month, has donated €5 and then a further €10, so thank you very, very much. And they said thank you for the badge drawing and the hedgehog, so we hope you enjoy that one. Anti-Graceful has donated $10, so thank you very much. Biscaya08, 200 Swedish krona, so thank you once again. Last Carl, 500 Japanese yen. I have had to read up on all of these currencies so I can work out what it is now. And then Carla Bennett, who is actually one of our volunteers, has put 9-ish shifts in that WAF and absolutely love it. That's great to hear, and they've donated £5, so thank you very much to everyone.
Every single pound helps. I mean, we're going to probably be overwintering 400 hedgehogs again this year. Every hedgehog that we have with us will eat about a third of a can, maybe a bit more of food a day, and they'll be with us for 150 days. So I leave you to work out what actually cost us, and it's many tens of thousands of cans of dog food. I'm still yet desperately trying to find a way of marketing hedgehog poo. There's got to be money in hedgehog poo somewhere. I don't know where.
Well, it's very good for doing fecal samples and teaching that, so you could send little packages off to vet hospitals and things. Test this. Test it for free. I don't know.
I was thinking of a sort of beauty product or sort of a facial mask or something.
You can put it on your face.
I think Lawrie should try
I've smelt
it
it.
first.
It's not-
Lawrie should try it first. I think it'd be very good for him. Give her another question, Lawrie. Keep Lucy working. She's not costing me anything tonight. She's
No,
free.
I'm here for free.
Lucy, which animal is your favourite, wild or domestic?
Ooh, my favourite animal, I think everyone can guess, is a grey squirrel. I think they are amazing animals. I could watch them for hours. I was actually helping hand rear baby squirrels before I came to Wildlife Aid as well. I mean, they got me into it basically. I adore them more than any other animal on the planet. Domestic animals, I wasn't expecting that one. I used to keep guinea pigs when I was little. They're very cute. I do like guinea pigs. Cats I do like. I know they get a bad reputation, but that's due to the owners not taking care of them, and this whole thing of just open the door and let your cat out. Cats don't need to do that. My cat didn't. He was perfectly happy and lived to 18, so I do miss my cat, but yeah, so.
Now this is unrehearsed, guys, so this is going to be quite, no, this is the next bit, you don't know what's coming yet. No. Tell me your views about the grey squirrel legislation that came in on the 1st of December, Lucy, without crying, please.
I have to be honest, if I was still working with wildlife now in a wildlife hospital, I wouldn't be able to do it. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Just explain to people what the legislation is and.
Basically, from the 1st of December, every wildlife hospital across the country that had a license to release grey squirrels. We only had a limited number anyway. The numbers that were being released were really a drop in the ocean compared to how many grey squirrels are out there. But those licenses are being removed, and all these animals now either have to be kept alive in captivity, which if you've ever seen a squirrel run through the treetops at however many miles an hour it is, that's no life for them. You can't duplicate that miserable existence for them, or put to sleep, which is even worse. And all the baby squirrels were, I'm on a real rant now, I apologise, but baby squirrels were brought in 9 times out of 10 because humans cut the tree down. If they checked the tree first, you know, it's not their fault. It's just awful, isn't it? I can't even comprehend how horrible that is going to be for people still working with wildlife across the country. It is insane, it makes no sense, and it's a law designed by someone sat behind a desk who doesn't actually have to do the deed, and I can't imagine. I really can't. I think. Well,
we have, Alice will kill me tomorrow because I'm not sure I got the numbers right, but I think we have a license to release 40 a year. And
that's correct.
Of all the hospitals in the UK, I think the total number of licenses are 680 from memory, so around about that number. Now, so all this law, all this money spent by DEFRA to bring this law in, and all the time they spent on it, is for 680 squirrels of a population of millions. So what we do or don't do is about 0.0025 of the population. No difference. We are still fighting, guys. We have still got lawyers on the case. We're trying to get something changed. We're trying to find, not loopholes particularly, but a way that they will let wildlife hospitals continue to do what they do. I mean, we're there to protect wildlife. It doesn't matter to us what species it is. We are there to try to redress man's imbalance to nature, to put it back into balance. So it doesn't matter if it's a squirrel, a pigeon, a fox, a deer, whatever, but for these governments to stop us doing what we do for the sake of 0.0025 of the population is just insanity, people. We've got enough problems without having to deal with things like this. We are still fighting. Don't think we've given up. We cannot and will not break the law, because that's, you know, you can't do that. But we haven't given up the fight. Whatever you see us do for the time being is because we have to act within the law. We haven't given up the fight. I was on to our lawyers this morning. They are doing investigative work as to what they can do to try to change it. It's not going to happen overnight, so nobody get that excited, but we haven't given up the ghost, as I'm sure many wildlife centres in the UK are doing exactly the same thing. So the squirrel question isn't dead and buried as far as I'm concerned, so you know, watch this space going forward. Lawrie asked Lucy a nice light-hearted question.
Just to sort of take the mood back up, we've actually just had a message from Adam, who is Abby's husband, and I know I'm going to die from this later. Who has written, Simon, she wasn't working, she was shopping for TVs, and dinner is already in the oven.
Thank you, Adam.
Adam, thank you for that knowledge. We will dock Abby a whole day's pay at least, which we will pay in to help the animals at Christmas.
Oh, I can't buy you a Christmas present now, sorry.
Shopping for TVs.
Were you buying Simon a TV?
Yeah.
Oh, this is an insane team. Go with another question. Well done, Adam, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Several people have asked you, what's your most memorable rescue? Not necessarily your most favourite.
Oh, the most memorable, I love, and there's a beautiful video of it as well, which is the deer that we went out to that had the split lip, that was trapped in the car park, and there was us, and there was the RSPCA, and it was so dramatic, and that release, you did,
I cried
you
that
cried
time. I
this
cried
time,
that
yeah,
time.
that was amazing, it really was.
Bounded off, didn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
it was beautiful.
Beautiful. So you can catch up. Lucy can tell you which episode or which series it is.
No, it's a YouTube video.
Oh,
so
YouTube.
you should watch it.
You can probably tell us the title of the video.
I think it's Our Most Amazing Deer
Yep,
Rescue
that's the
one. It really is.
Lucy not only knows all the episodes, she knows all the YouTube episodes as well.
I'm that sad, yeah.
Come on, give us another one, Lawrie.
We've actually had Lou reply and say, don't worry, Abby was working. Lou being Simon's daughter and the deputy CEO of the charity.
Thank you.
So she is being defended. A couple of people have asked, Lucy, would you ever consider getting back into wildlife rehab work sort of full time, or is that something that's more... Oh.
I actually did come back, didn't I?
Mhm.
There's a rescue video of me coming back. Excuse me.
A rescue video
Yeah.
of you coming back.
Well, we went on a rescue when I was
We
here.
did.
It was about a year and a half, 2 years after I left, and we
Who
did
are
a
you?
rescue.
Sorry, I've forgotten who you are.
Hi.
Sorry.
My name's Lucy.
Have you come for an interview?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get my drink.
Go on, so, yeah, what was that one? You came back.
We caught the swans together, didn't we? And we both accidentally,
Yes.
without...
Yeah, at exactly the same time.
Yeah, we did.
We'll try and find that video and put it in the comments.
I
It's
can't
quite
remember
fun.
the title.
I'm sure we can find that one.
And Lucy's lost her voice as well, so she's cracking up all right. Give her another question, because then I can keep nice and quiet and I don't have to...
No, the other way round, because I'm losing my voice.
No, you keep going.
I can't.
Unless you want to come and do this every month with me, that'd be really cool.
Make a regular thing.
Helen has asked you, Lucy, how long have you been helping wild animals?
Well, basically. I used to rescue snails when I was a little kid. My mum, hi mum, you're probably watching. Hi mum.
Lucy did threaten to say
I
hello,
did.
mum,
I
so
said
we're all
I
going, the
was
whole
gonna-
team
Hi,
are here
Mum.
saying hello,
Hi.
hello mum, we're all here.
But I've always been absolutely crazy about animals, and yeah, my mum, bless her, most little girls play with dogs.
What's your mum's
don't
name?
They? Sky.
I remember that. Like Sky the
Like
dog.
Sky.
Like
Well,
Sky.
Yes, he's got a dog called Sky. Sorry.
That
But
could
yeah,
sound so bad if you think about
I
it.
know, I
couldn't it?
realise there's.
Let's just jump on to something else quickly.
But you used to, most little girls have dolls, and my mum once saw me pushing a pram and came running over thinking, oh my god, she's at last playing with a doll. And she looked in the pram, and I was pushing a baby crocodile, plastic toy in the pram. So I think that kind of foreshadowed, is that the right word? Foreshadowed? Overshadowed. That showed what I was going to do for my life, really.
She was going to play with baby crocodiles.
Yes.
This was the rest of her life. Mapped out for her, really.
No, I've always loved wildlife, always watched all the wildlife programmes. Every time I worked at an ordinary vet practice, I was the one that took the baby animals home. My dream was always to work with wildlife full time.
To work with me. No, come on, you.
And then I did, and he nearly killed me.
Yeah, she did work way too hard, but she will come back. Mark my words, she will come back.
I did come back.
She will come back. Off the subject for 2 seconds, we've got 2 birthday shout-outs to do today.
Yes.
Lawrie had forgotten to remind me, but I have got it on my piece of paper. in front
Oh,
of
is
me.
that? I
Yeah,
was trying to look what
With all
you've
this
written. But
So to Evil Eye and Judith Neely, very happy birthday wishes from us old senile
Happy
people
birthday.
at Wildlife Aid, Lucy being the most senile for tonight. And thank you very much for watching us. We get so many people watching and contributing, and again, don't forget Help the Animals, guys. It's a great week. Channel 5 have been great to champion animals, and we want them to keep going year in, year in. So don't forget it. We'll keep going.
I
And
used to watch Wildlife SOS on Channel 5.
that was when it was in the
very early in the morning.
Easter 1997 that came out. This we were
Very
the
early
first.
in the morning.
We were on their inaugural day. We our budget was one of the lowest of all the programmes out, and we rated 10 in about 30 or 40, so
Not
we did very well.
surprised, it was
And that was our first foray into TV series, and that lasted for 16 long years.
Simon was like one of those old Pathé News. He was like, "Good evening, welcome to Wildlife Aid. I'm very posh and I talk like this." And then as the time went, it is true.
It is
true. Hello, I'm Simon Cowell. You were.
I think they practiced this just to take the Michael out of me. I wasn't going to say the word I was going to say because I suddenly realised it's live. But yes,
He
one
was.
did speak.
One did.
Lucy, I'd come out of the city. I'd spent 23 years in the city, and I can do a very BBC voice.
And you did.
And I did all the time then. It's sometimes now slips and it's not quite so BBC. And the odd swear word has been known to come into the conversation.
Not now though, live.
But if you want me to speak like that for the rest of the evening, it can be done.
This young badger has been brought in.
Okay, guys. Something here. If you want us to upload the first ever series of Wildlife SOS onto YouTube, let us know in the comments and we'll
And
make
pay
it
us your
happen.
money.
To see it.
Pay
You
for
have
it,
to
guys.
see
You're
it.
not going to get it for nothing.
Donate, you need to see.
And
you
for
need
those-
to see Simon's hair in it as well.
For those videographers out there, we filmed the first series on an MS1, which I have positively refused to show it, throw it away. In fact, when Lawrie first joined, I showed him that camera and he just laughed. It's like the box brownie of video
Oh,
cameras.
really?
It was an MS1 and we shot it on SVHS.
SVHS
and that
tape.
went out all over the world from Channel 5.
Oh, wow.
And we've still got the camera to this day, and I'm going to put it in the coffin with me when I go.
Oh.
So it will follow me to the next place we go to. Go on, Lawrie, give us another question.
There's a lot of people who want that
You have
that
got-
series going up on YouTube.
Yes, do it. Yes, please, yes.
If we can raise £10,000, we'll put that series up on YouTube.
£10,000.
£10,000.
The comments,
Budget
yes, yes,
TV.
yes, do it, yes, please, yes, yes, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Simon Cowell asking for £10,000
That's
to
pretty
upload,
That's quite steep.
upload that series on YouTube.
You do need to see it, you do.
A question for Simon. Do non-profits like WAF have a hard time keeping talented and trained professionals here? Obviously with the fact that a lot of our vet team are voluntary and obviously pay is not entirely great here.
To be honest, over the years, pay at charities has come very much into line with corporates. It's probably not all the way there, but it's not far wrong. In fact, I was talking to Lucy earlier on when she was on her seventh drink before we came in here.
I haven't.
One of the veterinary practices she's working out at the moment are trying to employ a vet nurse, and I said, what are you offering to pay them? And in fact, the money they're offering to pay their vet nurses are exactly the same as we pay our vet nurses. The trouble with any charity is basically any corporate you go to, they get more patients, or they make more money, or they make more products, or they make more profit, therefore they can all get a pay rise and a bonus and whatever. The more successful any charity is, the more money it loses. It sounds insane. If we could treat no animals a year, we'd actually make profit. But the more animals we treat, the more we lose, so the more we need to raise.
And the better you do for those animals, you know, like we're seeing some of the stuff Maru's doing with her orthopaedic surgery, and you've got to buy all that equipment, you've got to have the anaesthetic for doing it, and x-raying them, and it just gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it?
It is, it's no fun. So to run a charity, anybody who's thinking of starting a charity or running a charity, you have to be insane to even consider it. I came out of the corporate world, and it was a complete mind blow for me. The actual word that sprung to mind then, which I didn't use, was not mind blow, it was something else.
Yes.
But it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. So you are hiding to nothing. But as I say, you love what you do it because of the love of it, and everything else can go and do whatever it needs to do. I'm going to do what I do, and I
I
will
took
do
a
it.
pay drop to come. I mean, it is what happened. So
Excuse me, guys. I'm just
I
getting my
did.
violin
I
out.
did. It's the world's smallest violin. I did. It depends on how much you can do. I was lucky enough at the time that I could afford to do the pay drop, but and he wouldn't pay me anymore. So
She's not worth it. She's just not worth it. And as for Sean, he's the only one I know who can try to turn a mattress and break his ribs. Sean, you're not here
was coming
tonight.
tonight. If you are watching Sean get
I'm
well
sorry, Sean.
He really did. He really
It
did.
just shows that
He's really badly injured.
his days of a wildlife rescuer are long gone. Even I can turn a mattress. Sean falls over
I
and
know.
cracks a rib.
And then, you know, you watch any of the YouTube videos, he's up ladders high and...
Well, the pigeon
yeah.
went 25 million views, Lawrie, or
that's
something.
Sean letting go
Yeah.
of a ladder at the top of
He was,
the
he was
house.
30 feet up, and he had his feet on the uppermost run of the ladder, so his hands were just literally on the wall
makes
in
me
front of
feel
him.
sick
I felt
thinking
sick
about it.
filming
Yeah.
it, and I was on the ground. And how he did that, I don't know. So Sean, hats off to you, and we do hope
Get
your
well
rib gets
soon.
better soon.
Yeah. He's bad.
I'm never going to be nice to him.
No, you're not.
Because he's never
We're
nice
used
to
to
me.
that, though. This
Why
is
should
what
I
it
be
was
nice
like.
to him when he's nasty to me?
Yeah, that's true.
Give us some more questions.
How it
Lawrie.
is at WEF. A lot of people want to see the first series just to see, and I quote, the novelty of Simon with hair. So
Yeah.
that's always quite fun. We'll try and dig out a photo of that from
Yes.
one of the early days. A couple of donations have actually come in since then. Nigel Grant, who is someone that's
Nigel,
donated
Now's
a
out. He's
huge
been
amount
Now's
to
out
us.
now, isn't he? Now's
Who?
out. Keep going for Now's
Yes,
out, but
yeah.
come back to Wildlife Aid. Don't forget us, Nigel.
Yeah. So he's donated £25, so he's certainly not forgetting us.
Thank you.
Sven,
oh,
who
Sven, I was
is-
going to mention
Every
Sven.
week,
he's
guys.
on absolutely every single week. It's a pleasure to meet him, and once again he's donated €200, so thank you so much.
Every time.
And has asked Lucy, in series 10, when you were going through all the cards and it said lion, hippo, giraffe, all that
Yes.
lot, did you ever end up finding the swan sign you were looking for?
I did. The hospital, well, basically we have these signs to warn the volunteers because you don't want them going in if there's an animal in there that's a dangerous animal, for example. And the signs were getting really tatty, so we asked the office if they could print some new ones. And yeah, while I was being filmed going through, I think there was hippo and lion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very funny. And there was a swan one. There was a swan one.
We actually had Dasher, Dancer, Donna and Blitzen on the cages at the end of last year, which unfortunately no one saw. But more donations coming in. Kurosaki once again has donated €15 and has written, and again love to you all, so thank you very much. Mega Tweet, another 100 Swedish krona. Thank you once again.
How much is that in English? You said you've done your homework. Tell me how much 100 Swedish krona is in English. He's going to sit and work it out now. Look, he doesn't know the answer.
I can hear the like.
All this rubbish from Lawrie.
It's £8 sterling.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
thank
for
you
your
very much.
£8 sterling.
And Scottish astronomer, who is the guy who said that as a rocket scientist, wildlife rescue is more difficult than rocket science. So that's always quite a fun one. Has donated £10 and has asked, "Hi Lucy, hope life is going well for you now. What animal would you most like to rescue?"
Squirrels. I actually have to be really honest. Some of the most exciting rescues I've ever been on have been deer. They're always right on the line, and it's dangerous to us as well as to the animal, and you have to do your best. And this man, no kidding, I don't know how he does it, but he just is like a ninja when it comes to catching deer. I mean, no one's better than Simon at catching deer. He's like, and he's got the antlers like that.
How am I? Well, I used to be. Now it's as I fall over. The running days are
really
gone.
amazing at catching deer. Really
Okay.
was.
We haven't had deer rescue for a long time. Let's hope I don't get one. So I'll probably get another antler in the head, or an antler in the neck, or an antler up the back of my t-shirt. Remember that one when it ripped me from right up my back?
Yeah, you said you had one in your neck.
I did. Neck, forehead, and a rip up the
So
back
maybe
of the
he's
t-shirt.
not that good at catching deer.
No. It's all just for TV.
Ducks and ducklings were fun as well. Trying to get the mum before she flew away. I'm getting the bug
I'm
back.
so good
now.
at that now. I'm so good at that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did one
You're
with
never gonna
Lawrie.
leave.
I did one with Lawrie either last year or year before. Just very quickly, because you've probably
Oh,
seen
the
it.
keep nets.
Egyptian,
Yes.
and we got mum and dad.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that was astounding.
That was good.
was really cool. That was exciting.
You think all those times you've been and just trying to catch with a net, and it's the answer. And this is why you don't ever stop learning, because if you're prepared to learn and try something new and it works, then there you go. It's amazing,
Isn't it?
isn't it?
That's how we caught Abbey.
Isn't it?
She went back to the keep net.
Get back
And we
out.
shut it
couldn't
down
work out how to
quick.
get
We shut it down. And then she spent all evening shopping for television.
Yeah, apparently so.
That's what she did. Give us some more questions, Lauren.
So Alicia's asked, do we have a worm farm to help feed the hedgehogs, badgers and other animals that actually rely on them?
We've tried worm
Yeah, we
farms.
did a couple of times.
We've
when I
tried
was-
mealworm farms.
We've currently got a mealworm farm that's
And
going.
we've got in
but
such a mess with it. It doesn't work terribly well, to be honest, guys. It's actually easier and less time consuming for us to actually buy them in. I hate having to do it, but we do need these things. We need to feed animals what they would eat in the wild, and we can't make all animals go vegetarian or vegan.
It was keeping up with the volume of it for the badgers. I mean, they eat a lot of worms, don't they? So
we've actually substituted for this year. We substituted worms for mince,
and
they love their mince. It cost me an absolute fortune.
But he loves his badgers. So
I do love my badgers.
always the best for the badgers.
Yeah.
So a question for Lucy.
It's all for Lucy. Look, can I go out and get a drink now?
Go on, then.
To the pub? I mean,
you can go.
Wants me. I'm not necessary.
No, everyone loves Lucy on this one. Lucy, did the gull that fell into the vat of curry smell very nice?
Oh, yes. He really did. Yeah, we nicknamed him Gull Frazee. I mean, he really did. He actually smelt beautifully edible.
That's one way of putting it.
But it was a really, really nice smell. So, yeah, obviously didn't try it.
What Lucy didn't say to you, which she said to me quietly at the time, she said, you know, that there's nothing wrong with that animal at all. They actually had to coat it in all this powder
It's happened again
to make
since.
good TV.
It has.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
I think twice more. So
Yeah.
two more gulls covered in curry.
I should close that curry garden down. I think that they're irresponsible.
I can't obviously say who it was, but it's, you know, they have taken it on board after the third incident that basically it was all waste product, so it wasn't anything that was coming into the food chain, but well, not for humans, but it was like a waste bin outside that was full with sort of waste product curry basically. And the gulls, you know, that's what they're going to do. All the problems, like you said, that animals get into is because
it's due to man.
If they covered the bin, it wouldn't have happened.
Absolutely. Well, we had the hedgehog, which was covered in the wax that they use to de-wax, you know, get hairs off people.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty horrendous. Mankind has a lot to answer for.
Kurosaki has asked you both, actually, so you'll be pleased with this one, Simon. Did either of you ever get hurt rescuing animals?
Only when Lucy used to kick me.
Never kicked
She was quite vicious on rescues. I was in the wrong place. She just thumped me out the way.
You probably deserved it.
Lucy, have you ever been hurt rescuing an animal?
I was hurt at the WildlifeAid Christmas party.
That's not rescue.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was. It's
what
true.
happened at the WildlifeAid Christmas party?
Dislocated my knee.
It's the worst injury you got.
It was the worst
Why?
injury I
How?
had. Insomnia by Faithless is all I can say. Don't try and dance to it. That's what happened. It really is true. That's a true story. And I went to A&E and I worked the next day, and they pushed me around on an office chair while I was treating the animals, and the doctor said to me, have 2 weeks off to recuperate, and I had...
You've got to be joking!
None.
Lucy knows better than to ask me for that. Have I been hurt? I mean, I like to say I've never been hurt seriously. I've had some nasty incidents, both of which could have been literally cost my life, but they haven't. I mean, you do what you do, and I haven't been hurt that badly. I've been bitten and I've sworn. And Sean got quite a bad bite.
He did, yeah, that was...
Well, that was his own stupid fault, wasn't it? You've got a fox gnashing away, so instead of using a grasper or a net or a glove, what does Sean do? Grab it with his hand and gets very surprised when it bit him.
In his defence,
yes,
you had one pair of gloves with you, so you had one each. And yeah,
but he didn't use his.
You had the right hand, he had the left hand. So when he went to grab it, and this fox had a trap on its foot, and it had been struggling. We'd had so many calls about it. It was horrific.
We had to stop. We had to get it. Whatever happened.
Whatever happened, it had to be done. It had to be done. But I was, believe it or not, actually filming that. And there's one shot. I think it's see, there's my nerdy knowledge again. But there's one shot where you sort of see a little tiny snippet from one of your cameras on your head, your GoPro, and I'm filming like this, literally like, because I was so worried about Sean. I wanted to go, oh my goodness, but I can't because I'm filming.
Do you really worry about Sean that much?
Of course I do.
Why? Why? He's not a wild animal. He didn't have to grab it with his good hand, did he?
Well,
he didn't have to turn a mattress with his good body, did he? Now he's got nothing that works.
No. Welcome to old age.
Yeah, lovely.
My knee and yeah.
Okay.
It's all good.
Give us another one, Lawrie.
Okay. So a couple of donations in the last couple of minutes. Lol Dongs has donated £10, so thank you very much. And For All Music Types has donated £20 and has asked, Lucy, have any rescues had you in side-splitting laughter? And they're not the ones that Simon's fallen over on.
Ooh, that is a really good question.
But she doesn't know the answer.
No, I do.
Go on.
We did get called out to a carrier bag. Do you remember that? Side
Up
of the
the road
road,
here.
torrential rain, and we were all in a panic. There's a swan on the side of the road, and off we went, and yeah, it was a white plastic sack.
Carry bag on the side
That
of
was
the road.
quite fun.
We actually featured that as a game on the
We
YouTube
did,
channel, if I
yes.
remember right. That was back in
I've been
Andy's
called out
time.
to a pigeon on the side of the A3 once with Jim. I don't think he came on that one, but it was actually a pigeon from one of these decoy pigeons, and it was just lying in the gutter on the A3 late at night. Horrendous. So yeah, we get called out. To
Oh, the bird in the loft that was a fire alarm. You know when the fire alarms do the
low
minute it
battery
goes,
warning.
You know,
Yeah.
and the homeowner was so convinced that it had a fire.
She wouldn't believe it.
Bird up in that. No.
But Wildlife Aid always on the case. We actually replaced the battery because we had a 9-volt battery with us.
Yeah.
So Wildlife Aid always rises to the occasion, I think.
That was an SOS, so we're probably going to get the episode number
He's
at this
done,
point.
No, he has. He's done it as well. I'm really sorry. He did it in Wildlife SOS, but it's also in Wildlife SOS online.
Oh, okay,
There's a
in the first
second-
series.
second-
Second one, we did
Twice.
two. We did two.
Yeah.
You're quite right.
I'm such a nerd.
So, Lucy, do you think there should be more courses on the care of wildlife in veterinary schools?
I really, really do. And Liverpool, massive thanks to Liverpool Vet School, because they're the first. They've actually got a wildlife rotation, which is fantastic.
I think Surrey do as well, don't they?
I don't know, do
I think
Surrey
they
as
do. I
well?
think
Oh,
Surrey
that's
do
even
as
better.
well.
See, I'm out of the loop now. I'm old and lazy. But yeah, that's amazing. And I remember back in the time when you asked if they could bring it into the syllabus, and we were told, there's no time. In 5 years, there's no time. But now they are, and it's fantastic because you're going to see it every day brought into your practice.
We actually have our inaugural meeting, and that's a big word for me to use this time of night after about 18 drinks. Tomorrow night, we're going to write 12 CPD courses or lectures for wildlife care for vets and vet students. So if anybody wants to help us sponsor that, it's going to be quite costly. We're going to write 12 courses. We'll then try to get it backed by either the Royal College or the BBSA or BBNA, whatever. We're trying to get. So if anybody's watching from any of those organisations, we would love to get it sort of rubber stamped by an accredited.
It would be amazing. I mean, it's so needed. It really is.
So, inaugural meeting tomorrow night. We're meeting with Hannah Bowley,
Oh, Hannah. Hi,
Sally
Hannah.
Jones,
Sally. Hi.
and a lecturer from Surrey University to start briefing out one of the, all of the 12 lectures we're going to write.
And that's amazing because Hannah and Sally both started as volunteers at Wildlife Aid, and it's like
when they were
watching
students.
them. It's
So Hannah's now
you feel
qualified
like a
vet.
bit of a mum, and you're like, oh, my little Hannah's all grown up and she's a vet now. It's amazing.
I bet you're really grateful to hear you say that.
I've said it to her. She
Yeah.
knows I've said that.
And Sally
Yeah.
qualifies this year, doesn't she?
I know. Well done.
So,
Good luck, Sally.
both
Good
of you,
luck,
great
Sally.
luck. We expect you to come and work here for nothing for at least 25 years. So guys,
It's lovely, isn't it? It really is.
It is lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely. Sorry, that wasn't my BBC voice, was it?
No.
That wasn't at
No.
all my BBC voice. Any more questions for Lucy, Lawrie? I've had a very easy night tonight.
Yeah, we'll give him some
I've had it
hard
cushy.
ones.
So, question for anyone: what's the furthest distance you've travelled for a rescue? And if one came up, how far would you go?
It really depends what the rescue is. I mean, in normal circumstances, if something is sort of too far away, either it's going to die, it's going to have gone, or somebody's going to have rescued it. So we try to make sure that somebody's going to stay with the animal. The furthest we've ever travelled, to be honest, is to Wales, when we had that big oil tanker oil spill.
Oh, yes.
And we went up and helped them de-oil the bird, so that was a long way. But normally, we tend to say about an hour, because if something hasn't happened in an hour, somebody else would have gone to it, or whatever. But we will respond. Every case is different, and if something was 2 hours away and it needed us, we would go to it. So yeah, our rule of thumb, but that is very flexible if it needs to be.
Okay, just flicking through. Keep your questions coming in, guys. We've had Unoriginal Uniqueness has asked, how do we do night rescues? Do we have a night team, or do we just bring people in when needed?
The night team is sitting over there.
Lawrie comes upstairs, he takes my pyjamas off because I'm getting a bit old now. He dresses me, and then he says, go on this rescue sign. And I go,
Wake up!
yeah, and he slaps me around the face a few times. It's not always Lawrie and I, but there's limited people at night, and often the night rescues are more difficult and more dramatic, and we have infrared cameras, we have heat-seeking cameras. We have obviously all the headgear and everything else. So it is often Lawrie and I, not all the time. And if to be honest, guys, if it's below 0, there's no way in hell I'm going to get out of bed for that. Lawrie will go on his jacksie for that one because it's too cold for an old man like me.
It is so cold.
We have had a rescue that I was repeatedly calling Simon to get up, and he didn't hear his phone, so we had to go out and do it solo because it was too cold and he just didn't hear his phone.
I was hibernating. I'm like a little hedgehog.
A couple more donations. Mara Kinghorn, who's actually one of our volunteers. Lucy would know Mara.
Is Mara Kinghorn still alive?
We love
Yes,
Mara.
she's lovely, Mara.
Is she
She's lovely.
We
She's
love
donated
everybody
£10
likes
as
Mara.
well as her
Everybody
time.
He loves you, really. You
Mara,
really
but just while you're on tonight, I can't find my back. My back's really bad at the moment, and I had a big wide belt, and you've filed it somewhere, and I can't find it. Please give me a call. Let me know where you put it, because my back's in agony. Sorry, we go back to where we were now.
Yeah, Deirdre Barlow, who I believe is a character in a soap or something, yeah, has donated £10 and has put, which rescue did you guys get most attached to?
Ida Millie the Cuckoo. Oh, I sound so repetitive. I'm so
You got a
sorry.
free trip to Italy.
Yeah,
from
it was unforgettable. Really was. Really was.
I get attached to the one I'm doing at the time.
Wonky Beak Swan was my.
To me, everyone, the rescue tomorrow will be the best one ever.
True.
The rescue the next day will
There's
be the
so
best one
many.
ever.
You keep thinking, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, the duck with the swollen face, and you know.
The duck with the swollen face was one of Sean's specialities. There was a pond in Ashton, which was about 4 or 5 feet deep, and it had the most. I mean, people were told not to go in the pond because it was dangerous. I'm not sure it was radioactive, but it was very
It's
near.
nasty bacteria.
And I looked at it and I thought, Sean, you're younger than me. So Sean waded into this pond,
Up to his
walking
neck.
up, nearly up to his neck. And I think the funniest thing for me, you never say Sean didn't get it, because he will always get what he goes for. He will not stop. But when he came out, he looked at and was going to get in the car. I said, on your bike, Sean. Luckily, the other side of the road, and this is all true,
It is true.
there was a guy steam cleaning a car off. So I walked Sean over there, and these guys just looked at him. I said, can I borrow your steam cleaner, Brad? And I stood him there, and I just steam cleaned Sean off to get him to a state where he could go in the car. He was black from head
stank
to
as
foot.
well, didn't
He
it?
did. Has that smell ever left him, or is it still
No,
there
the
now?
shorts have gone. We
The shorts.
burned them.
Think about Sean himself. Does he still smell as bad, or is he?
No, he's fine. now.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Good,
thanks.
good.
So a couple of people have asked, what has been the funniest thing that's happened to both of you whilst working here?
Well, Simon.
Simon can't be the
Yes,
answer.
Simon Cowell's the answer. That's my.
Shall I read some more of your letters out now?
No, I can't believe you still have this. Why have you kept this?
I have all my emails going back
Can
to
I just say,
2006.
when I sent that letter, I sent my letter and my CV 2 hours. 2 hours later, I got a phone call, and I literally, I don't answer withheld numbers. I'm just me. And he left a message, and I was in such a state because it was like, Simon's on the phone. Oh my God, it's Simon on the phone. Yeah, so if you think I was bad at the interview, you should have seen.
But when you look back on it now, you must feel a right plonker being so in awe.
Yeah,
of
I was
such
so
a
wrong.
rounding old idiot.
It's not what you think.
No, I'm just not what you think at all. What you see is not what you get. Is that true?
Yeah.
What you see on the live streams is what you get.
Yes, that's actually very true.
You have to have a sense of humour in this world, girl, don't you?
You do.
Yeah. So are you
I
coming
would
back to
try
work
and
for
do
us soon?
an accent like.
You coming back to work for us soon, or?
I did.
No. We're talking
No.
about the future. We're not talking about the past or the present. We're saying,
done.
are you coming back to work for us soon? Do you
I don't
care
know.
about
Who
wildlife? Or are you
knows?
just going
Who
to
kno-
swan
oh, I
around
don't
in
say
all
that. I
in all your
bet.
wealth and luxury all over Europe and not,
We
all this
do
wildlife's
have a
dying.
very, very cool motorhome.
No, but all this wildlife's dying because you're not here to save it.
Actually, since we've been doing it, we've rescued 2 sparrows.
Two. Hang on. We've probably done 5,000 rescues since she's been doing it, and she's rescued 2 sparrows.
They've both
I rest my
recovered.
case.
They
I rest
did,
my
they
case.
did, they did. Window strikes, both of them. I won't say that it unfortunately was our own RV window.
Lucy very skillfully got out of that question I asked her then, but I haven't forgotten. What else do you want to mention?
Yes, another $100 from Stevie R, and who has written much love from Connecticut. So thank you very much to you.
Thank you, guys.
And a couple of people are wondering if Myra is the person that's managed to clean your office. That is actually true.
It is true.
Myra did try. Myra tried to clean my office. She did a great job. She came in about 2 weeks later, and it was just like it was.
It was worse.
She left.
I was really disappointed walking in there tonight. I really thought I was like, nothing's changed. It's
Nothing.
exactly the same.
Nothing.
Yes.
I still dribble.
She's
I
actually
guess.
told us where she's put.
Oh,
the
where
belt.
she
She
put my
said
belt?
it's in a box under the filing trolley.
What's
in
the
your
point of
office.
putting it there, Myra? How am I going to find it when I need it? It's like George, our maintenance guy. Brilliant guy. He knows where everything is. If he's not here, nobody knows where anything is. I could die waiting for the right kit to come back. So under the file trolley.
Under the
in the box.
filing trolley in your office.
Okay, I will look at that, Myra.
It's in
My
a
back's
box.
really
Thank
bad.
you, Myra.
Thank you, Myra. Thank you.
So a question for both of you from For All Music Types. Do you find it hard to detach yourself emotionally when you have to make a very difficult decision on a rescue?
I don't know the answer to that because, I mean, you do at the time. I mean, Laurie's been out with me too many times when I've had to take nasty actions and things I hate. But the second of doing it, you just think of the animal and you do what you've got to do.
I
If
was
you
gonna
actually
say, it's
considered it
empathy
and
with
thought
the-
what you're about to do, you wouldn't do it. So you detach at the time, it does come back and
It's
But
you
that's
put
at the
yourself
bottom.
in that animal's situation, and however sad it is, which it is heartbreaking sometimes. But if you were that animal and you were suffering like that, there's your answer. It makes it a lot easier to deal with. It doesn't mean that it doesn't affect you, and sometimes you can't help but cry and become emotional, but you're still doing the right thing by the animal, aren't you?
people honestly think, I mean, I know Laurie's had it, well, they think, you know, I sort of cry because it looks good for TV. I mean, I can't, it just happens, guys. I can't, it's just there. I mean, we were talking about something the other day and I thought of the story and I think,
No, the
gone.
good example was us talking about the twin fawns, the two baby deer. I mean, some
Yeah, I
of them,
shut my
some of
brain
them
off from that
really,
for a
some of
second.
them really get to you. They really do. And
Even 10 years on, they still get to you, don't they? It's a bit
I
hard.
remember a heron with a fractured leg, and Hannah, if you're watching, you were with me, and we tried so hard with this heron. There was no reason to get attached to it. You couldn't handle it. It wasn't cuddly, not particularly pretty, but it was absolutely gutting that we
Couldn't
tried so
quite.
hard and we couldn't fix him, and it was just horrid. So yeah, some of them really get to you you can't.
This
say
is why
that.
we actually got rid of Lucy, because she was just getting more and more incontinent. She wasn't saving
Oh my
anything.
God.
She was going home in the middle of treatment because it was time to go. She didn't care anymore.
That's so not true. Challenge. How many times does it say? That was Lucy's day off. Count them, count them.
Someone could
Please
get. It's
don't.
probably going to be you who ends up
Please
doing
don't.
it, isn't
Please
it?
don't. We're well over our hour, guys. Are we all right?
Oh,
Should we just?
yeah.
Should we?
We
try to
are.
wind it up
We're
soon?
12 minutes past. We're going a little over now just because of all the problems that we had at the beginning. But we will be wrapping up fairly soon. So if you do have any questions for Simon or for Lucy, please get them in, and we will try and get them answered tonight.
And I will just say now, while we're chatting, anybody, because 2 people recently have won the most obscene amounts on the lottery.
Yes, not me.
I wish it was me, because I'd be very happy, and I would still be. See, that's the sad thing. I'd still be sitting here
You
if
would,
I'd won big
you
money.
would.
Having said that, we're desperately trying to get this new centre up and running. We're desperately trying to do more. If anybody knows anyone who has that sort of money, I mean, it's got to be a high net worth individual or a lottery winner. It's no point us asking, because they'll get asked by millions of people. But if you know anybody who might be able to help us, please give me a ring directly. I can treat it totally confidentially, but we just need to get this new centre built. So I think it will begin to make a real paradigm shift in the way we treat animal care and the way we educate the children to care for wildlife. So
And vets and nurses coming
yeah.
there too.
it's all about money. I know it's all about money, because it is. With the more money we have, the more good we can do. And people just don't understand that, but it's vital.
It's true, it
so,
goes together.
so I stop talking. I won't talk about legacies tonight, I promise, but they're vital to us too. So important. In fact, we've got one person who, all the years we've been getting legacies from people, which has been brilliant. I always feel horrible afterwards, because you can never ring them up and say thank you.
No, it's sad,
And we've got
isn't it?
one legacy running at the moment where we know the person who's giving us the amount of money, and it is seriously significant. And I won't mention the person's name. But you know, it's really lovely to be able to thank them while they're still here, to say you are going to make so much
That is
difference to our future. It does. It chokes me up. So I'm going to go again in a minute. It's just brilliant. So thanks, guys.
We've had a little reminder for Lucy about the rescue that Sean went on, and I quote, "to the garden full of snakes wearing waistcoats and holding umbrellas."
Yeah. That was all of us went on that one. This was actually, we used it in one of the outtakes, which I think those videos are still up on Vimeo.
Yes, they are actually. We should try and move them over to YouTube if we can.
Because there's some really good, funny outtakes on there. And this basically was a guy that called us out because he'd seen a great big load of snakes in the garden. And when we looked up the house, we saw he was near a school, so we really did have to go.
Right next door, wasn't he? Right next door to the school, so we panicked slightly.
We got there, and there was just nothing there. But he said to us, "You see, they're all moving around everywhere, and look over there. There's a tortoise,
The
and
ground's moving, the path's moving, and
there was nothing there at all." Well, bless him, you know, don't just say no to drugs, guys. That's all I can say. Yeah, bad.
But he believed it. He honestly believed
it.
it. And there was one snake with an umbrella and a coat hanger or something.
Yeah, coat hanger in its mouth.
We will try to get it up on YouTube, guys, because it was just very funny. It's not funny, but it's just that's the sort of calls we get.
And you have to go, and you can't go to something else because you're there. But yeah.
Question for both of you: how do you get people to stop leaving elastic bands on the floor? Because several people are worried that they're going to get caught or eaten by birds, hedgehogs, foxes, anything.
We have to stop. Yeah, we have to stop Royal Mail using elastic bands. It's quite serious. But I mean, elastic bands. Lawrie went out recently. I was with him, but the water looked very cold, so I made Lawrie do the rescue. But there was a duck with a rubber band round its inside its beak, so round its beak, round its neck. It couldn't fly, couldn't get off. So Lawrie very bravely.
That was a really good catch, by the way. I saw that.
It wasn't that.
Well, what you don't see from the video is when the bird had gone in, it had actually got itself stuck between sort of two bits of wood. So I went in from behind and I could effectively just grab it and pull it back out. It wasn't timing, it was just it happened to be stuck.
So you didn't tell us at the time.
I told you at the time, you just forgot.
Us to think you were really brave and clever and quick, and actually this one was stuck. It was going.
But yeah, Royal Mail, they do.
Yeah, we've got to stop. Rubber bands are dangerous. I mean, all litter is potentially dangerous to wildlife. Open cans, glass bottles, plastic bottles, they're all very dangerous. I mean, you remember the one years and years ago when a fox got its head stuck in a white lemonade bottle, and the only thing that saved it actually was the fact that the stopper wasn't on, it could still breathe, but it couldn't eat and it couldn't see anything, it was just bumping into everything.
There was a whale recently I read that had I can't remember, 100 kilos of plastic.
Yeah. It's terrifying. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we've actually really got to the bottom of what's going on in our oceans, guys. So, you know, we have a crisis. I think the crisis is 10 times more than we're actually giving it credit for at the moment. Our oceans are in a terrible state. We've got warming, we've got the ice caps melting, and we've got so much plastic out there, which we're never going to be able to get rid of. We can do a little bit. But we have totally ruined this planet. I'm trying to be so careful with my language now because I get so cross when I talk about it. You know, if you go to the beach, just spend 5 minutes picking up bits of litter on the beach and putting it in a bin. It is an IDOT. IDOT will become a big thing. Watch this word. I know you don't know what it means at the moment. It's I do one thing. It will become plain in due course.
If you see elastic bands, pick them up. That's the best thing you can do.
I just said that.
Yeah, and I was just going to say as well.
Okay. You don't need to say that.
I've got one more. If you have Coke can or beer can wrinkles, cut them up before you put them in the bin. That's all it takes. Or better still, do a petition, couldn't you, for Royal Mail to not use elastic bands?
Off. I might as well go and have a drink now. Lucy's off. She's back. Lucy is back. If not physically, mentally, and if not mentally, physically, I'm not sure which.
I don't think it's either.
Okay. It's good. It's been a good reminisce, hasn't it? It's been fun. So we should do another one soon. That's if you're not swanning off in your RV with your magnificently wealthy husband.
Glamorous fan life.
I mean, he can't go anywhere at the moment because he's stuck between a mattress and a cupboard.
He's not still there. He's not, but he's in a lot of pain.
You said you were going to leave him there.
Well, I had to leave him tonight because he couldn't drive. He's really in pain. So yeah, my driving's not brilliant. So
Sean, that's the way the cookie crumbles, really. Sorry, mate. She's
get
back
well
now.
Soon.
Yeah, get well soon, but don't rush. It's loads of time.
And unfortunately, I think that's going to have to be nearing the end. with that one. We've
Well, I'm
had
here in the end anyway.
$10 from Dave Edlin, and has put compliments from America. Your British animals seem far more polite than American animals, especially the badgers. If anyone's
Honey
ever seen a honey badger, they look far, far, far more of a challenge than the ones we've got here.
Viral video about honey badgers.
Honey badgers.
Yes.
I'd love to work with one. I mean, Tasmanian devils were bad enough when I was in that place next to Australia, which is called Tasmania.
Yes.
Got me in the end. One bit me on the bum.
Hence the name Tasmanian
Yeah,
devil.
it was a baby Tasmanian devil, and it bit me on the bottom, and it really hurt. And actually, that's still alive somewhere because it bit me so hard that I squeaked.
There's
I did
an
squeak.
outtake of that.
There's an outtake of that with a big hole in my bottom.
So the last two questions that we've got here, one it's for everybody in the room, and it's if you could rescue one animal from anywhere in the world, what would it be?
I'll answer that first because it's an impossible question. Sorry guys, whatever needs us will be there. I don't care what it is. It's that animal needs us at that time. Don't care what species. It could be from the common to the rare. It needs us will be there. That's my answer. Beat that, Lucy Kells.
Can I just say ditto?
He's dug us into a hole here, isn't he?
Ditto. All of the above. Yeah.
So before we go, I'm going to say one thing before Lawrie was opening. He opened his mouth then, but I
You said
managed
there
to
was
get in there.
something else, didn't you?
There is
Let me
one more.
I'm doing my first.
Okay.
Guys, go to the website. We've got lots of good stocking fillers on the website. We've got the books. We've got the 2 books I writted. I writted 2 books, in fact 3 books, but Lucy, what's my daughter's name? Lou wrote one
I'm
of them.
so
Lou wrote one of them.
You are going to hear that tomorrow.
So yeah, lots of things to buy at the website. Just think anything you buy from us is probably going to save a wild animal because all the money goes from it to the rescues and to the running of this centre, so that's great. Now I am going to shut up and Laurie's going to close us down with one last question.
Yeah, so the last question is actually, have you ever rescued a stork, either of you?
Stork? Well, back to the cuckoo, where she was released was a stork rescue centre, believe it
Oh,
or not.
really?
It really was, yeah. And I didn't get to rescue one, but saw a lot of them. So that's what they do in that centre. So.
Aren't stalks the thing on the end of flowers? You know, you get a leaf and you get a stalk and you get a flower on
It
the top.
actually is.
It is spelled differently though.
I've not rescued one of those either, have you?
No.
There you go. Just as a reply from Simon's daughter Lou, she's just written wow in the comments. So I think tomorrow there's going to be a small explosion here at the centre.
I gave her credit. What more could I do?
And on that note, we will have to wrap it up before Simon is killed by his daughter.
Lucy. Or John.
Our next live stream will actually be in January, so it's
Next
January the
year.
8th, 2020, which I can't even believe is going to be our next one. But for every one of you watching, thank you very, very much. We hope you have a fantastic holiday season, Christmas and New Year, and we shall see you in the new year.
Happy Christmas.
Stay sober, guys, and don't throw rubber bands away. Happy Christmas to you all.